So first of all, I would like to quickly introduce myself. I'm Lucy, one of the co-founders of Femme. Since there might be some people who don't know Femme, so just to quickly tell you about who we are. So at Femme, we are helping women with their professional development and helping them grow in their careers. We have a diverse community of over 1,500 members, and we organize for them educational and networking events. Then we do a mentoring program for professionals and newly for female founders. And then we also run a leadership program for our members. The way how we know Stephanie and Bettina, who will be leading this webinar, is that they were actually participants of our Fempreneurs program, which just became recently a mentoring program for female entrepreneurs. Um, and to just add to this, we are accepting application to this program till the end of this week. So if you guys want to learn more about it, feel free to message me after. And with that, I would like to introduce you the speakers of today's event. So we have here Bettina, who own and run her consulting business in millennial engagement. And then we have Stephanie, who is a self-love coach that empowers women to gain confidence, self-love, and emotional resilience. And together they are the duo behind their self-care community called Elevate. So with that, I'll pass it over to you ladies.
Nice, beautiful. Thank you, Lucy, for the introduction. That was very thorough and very complete. So indeed, we are Stephanie and Bettina from Elevate. This was a community that we started in Prague, really much with a desire to provide a platform for people to come together and really reflect on what is it that they need to really feel like energized and meaningful in what they do and in their everyday life. And I think especially today, like in the times in which we live, where there's so much uncertainty, where it's so hard to tell what the future ahead of us lays for the coming weeks, for the coming months, we thought this was a good time and a good way to just bring back the topic of self-care and also what it means to each and every single one of you. Because I think in particular self-care is it's a very personal topic, and it might mean different things to different people. So this is an opportunity for us to really explore that and see what it brings us. So just a few words on Elevate. It was created quite recently, just a couple of weeks ago, before the coronavirus hit. So our events are often, well, usually offline. So this is our first experiment with an online version of this. So we hope you stick along with us and enjoy it and make the most out of it. So we decided to put today under the theme of self-compassion, especially because we believe that self-compassion also brings into it a bit of self-love and a bit of self-patience in these times, when some of us want to be super productive or dedicate themselves to being very fit or cooking a lot or meditating a lot or doing all the things I never had any time to do. But I think that self-care is also about the not forcing, but just honoring what's there when it wants to be expressed and being fine with letting go when it just doesn't happen, when you don't have the energy to do that. So without further ado, I would like to open this little webinar with a beautiful meditation that's going to be led by my dear Stephanie. She's going to lead you into around 10-15 minutes meditation. So we'll invite you to find a comfortable seat and make yourself comfortable. And I'll now pass you over to Stephanie.
Thanks, Bettina. So, yes, so I will be leading the meditation. During this meditation, I will have you connect to deeper self-compassion, and then also to connect to this inner child. So this part of us that still lives, even though we're adults now. I want us to really just get in touch with what we're feeling today as well. So I will also lead us in getting in touch with how you feel in this present moment. And yeah, so let's begin. Let me know if you can hear the music, Bettina. Is it okay?
Perfect.
So if everyone can make themselves comfortable, however that is for you, if you want to sit cross-legged, If you want to go lay down and turn off the camera, like do whatever it is that will help you get into your body and into this moment. So yeah, if you want to lay down, turn off the camera, do what you'd like. We're really going to take this time to go inward and to sit with ourselves. So make yourself comfortable. And first, I would like you to begin with some deep breaths. Is your breath shallow? If so, deepen your breath. Take this moment to get back into your body. Let everything go. Now inhale with your nose, deep inhale, and exhale with your mouth. You should make a ah or a sigh at the end. Inhale, exhale, ah. And you want to let out a deeper exhale because this is what really calms your parasympathetic system. This is what really will ground you into this moment. Deep inhale, exhale. Breathe deep into your belly. So really fill your belly up with air. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. Take this moment to scan your body. Let go of any tension. Roll your neck from side to side, maybe. If you have any tension in your face, just relax your face. Most of us carry so much stress and so much tension in our faces. Relax your face fully. Breathe. Really come into this moment. Here and now. Observe your breath. Inhale. Deep exhale. I also find it helpful to open your mouth when you exhale. Let the breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now, imagine yourself as 5-year-old you. What does she look like? What does she sound like? Take this moment and admire him or her. What does this version of yourself love to do? What brings this little you the greatest happiness or joy? Maybe it's riding your bike or playing with your brothers or sisters. Maybe it's climbing a tree. If any uncomfortable memory or feeling comes up, allow it, but breathe through it. You are safe. You are here and now. Keep breathing. If a positive memory or feeling comes, embrace it. Show it love. And if it's negative, also show it love. Embrace it. Now, I would like you to send wishes of goodwill to this little version of yourself. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be full of love. May you be free. Continue breathing and focus on your deep, deep breaths. Make this next breath even deeper, deep into your belly. Now, envision yourself as you are today. What are you wearing? How are you feeling? Name the feeling. If tired is what you feel, I want you to dig a little deeper behind tired. What is causing this tiredness? Is it frustration, anxiety, or maybe even sadness or fear? Whatever feeling you have named, validate this feeling. Continue breathing. Breathe in, deep belly breath. Breathe out. In, out. Embrace what you are feeling today in this moment. Inhale, exhale. Keep breathing. Now, I want you to reflect about your life right now. What is it that you need more of? Is it play? Is it love? Or is it even stillness or rest? Validate whatever needs come up. Continue breathing. Now, I would like you to send wishes of goodwill to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be full of love. May I be free. Observe your breath. Come back to the sensations in your body. Maybe wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Bring sensation back into your body. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, place both hands over your heart or your chest. Breathe into your heart space. Imagine you're inhaling peace and tranquility into this space. Send yourself loving kindness and thank yourself for taking this time to connect back to yourself and for being here today, present with yourself in this moment. Okay, everyone wants to come back into their bodies. Open your eyes slowly. Maybe stretch a little bit, wiggle around. And when you're ready, you can come back on camera if you so choose to. Okay, so everyone back more or less. Okay. So if I could get maybe one or two people to share how their experience was during meditation. Were you able to be present with yourself, or was there a bit of a challenge to ground and to become present? What was your experience?
Oh, that was really, really powerful, Steph. I really, really enjoy your meditations. And we often start with meditation just to, bring yourself back into the space. And also because a lot of us spend quite a lot of time on our screens today. So this was just, an initial little break for you to, like, take a long, deep breath out, like Steph said, and just rest your eyes for a bit. So there's quite a few of us today on the call. So if we could invite you to maybe comment on the chat, also if you don't want to raise your voice straight out of meditation, if you could just comment for us what it brought for you. Did you have any insights? What was it to reconnect to that smaller version of yourself? How was it to bring yourself back to the present? We would love to hear like what this brought for you.
I would love to hear some of the feelings as well. Maybe some of the feelings people had. So when you had to name a feeling as to how you felt in this moment, I would be curious to hear some feelings. Oh, thanks. Shivers. That's awesome. That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. Relaxing, enjoyable, emptying the mind.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So interesting how it was easier to send love and good wishes to the 5-year-old me rather than the present me.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that one first because it's the easier one. I think for us, and then in a longer meditation, I'll actually go through different ages, so like from 5 to teenager to now, just to really help with that progression. But because we had a limited amount of time, I did a much shorter version of this. So yeah, I do this as to really remind yourself that like that part of you still exists, and it deserves just as much love as the part of you right now. So
Beautiful. Thank you for participating in that and just taking a long inhale and a long exhale. So what we'd like to do now with you is to really explore what self-care means to you, especially during these really strange times of lockdown when a lot of us have spent a lot of time at home and probably a lot of time in our heads as well. So we would simply like to invite you for the next 5 minutes, if you could grab pen and paper or little post-its or whatever you have at hand.
even if it's your phone, just something to write a few notes.
Anything where you could write. And we would like to invite you just to write down, what is your definition of self-care? What does it mean to you personally? And what are the activities that you're drawn to when it comes to self-care? And of course, it might be very different things for different people. So just take the next 5 minutes or so to write those things down. We'll put some music in the background for you. And yes, please go ahead and write that while I put some musica on this thing. Can you hear it, Steph?
Maybe a little louder.
Can make it.
A little bit louder, I think.
Yeah, can I ask you to do it?
Okay.
So just 2 more minutes to finish writing down your thoughts, your definition, your activities around self-care. Still see some people writing, but others are done already. So I think 2 minutes should be fine. I think we're good to go. Steph, if I could ask you to take the music down, beautiful. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, so just as a way to start also connecting each other with other people in the world, I see some familiar faces. So I know some of you are in Germany, others are in Holland, others are in South Africa, in Sweden, in Finland. You really are all over the world. So what we'd like to do now is that we'll put you in breakout rooms. It's a new Zoom feature. So exciting. And in those breakout rooms, you'll be with 2 other people. So 3 of you will be in one group. I would simply like and invite you to share what your definition of self-care is and how do you manifest and how do you create self-care for yourself? What activities do you do? So we'll give you around 10 minutes to share this. So try to be a bit mindful of time just so that everyone in the group can share. So I would like now to ask Lucy if you could put our
Sure.
participants into random groups of 3. Nice, thank you for going for it. Hi everyone, welcome back. Those beautiful smiling faces, wonderful. Cool, so ladies and gentlemen, how was that? Again, we would love to hear like how that was. Please share in the comments if you can, if you're happy to share with us how it was. We had a couple of insights really about self-care, about what it means and about the activities that we dedicate ourselves to. And maybe just to open the conversation, it's quite interesting how, like we have the tendency to really think of others more than ourselves. And I've definitely noticed that for myself as well. I'm in the deep Czech countryside at the family cottage of my boyfriend. So there's 4 of us here. I'm here with my boyfriend, his brother, and his sister. And it was interesting to notice myself getting into the mother role of like, oh, I should make sure that everything's fine and like clean and comfortable. And I think it's really been a process to realize like, no, even in these weird times, it's still okay to take time for yourself, to replenish and to just take things easy and not feel necessarily the responsibility for others. And in fact, the more I've taken time for myself, the more I was able to give, if anything, and more meaningfully as well. But let's see what you have to say. That was amazing. Thank you. It was really good. Different meanings for self-care, but all resonated for everyone. Lovely, good. I think part of this session was really to get you to exchange with each other and maybe get some ideas from the others and just hear how other people handle self-care during these times. What was interesting as well sometimes is that for some of us, for a lot of us, these times are also really stressful because there's other things to worry about more. What happens to my income? When will I see my family again? A lot of us live in other countries than our home countries. So, and I think for me in particular, my sister is here in the session. I see her digitally, but when will I be able to see her in physically and face to face again and hug her? It's something that nobody can tell at this point. So, I know that there's other things to worry about, but I also feel like self-care is a way to keep you sane and to keep you grounded and to keep you in the moment and to keep yourself present day after day, because right now we don't really know what the coming days will look like. Mm-hmm. So if anything, we invite you to actually plan for self-care and plan for moments where you willingly and consciously want to dedicate some time to that. Steph, I don't know if you have some thoughts about this, some other summaries that you've seen that you would like to share.
I think, well, in the breakout group that we were in, we discussed also how your definition of self-care will change now. So maybe the things that gave you the most joy or gave you the most energy, like you no longer have access to, or maybe there's days where you feel like I should do this, but there's just no energy to do it. So I think really embracing these sort of like these murky waters and navigating this and like honoring those cycles, because I think everyone is feeling the waves of feeling so much more. So you also have to keep that in mind when you're scheduling your self-care. And some days you really have to take it day by day, I think. So like setting that intention when you wake up, like, okay, like what can I do for myself today that will help put me, you know, whatever it is that you need for that day, like greater joy, more ease, maybe just a change, an old conversation with a friend, looking at photos, talking with someone new.
Mm-hmm.
So really asking yourself what serves you in that day and in that moment.
Exactly. So we hope this little, sharing was insightful for you. And we also wanted to bring to the table, the differences that we experience in being in lockdown by ourselves versus being with other people. So we just wanted to share some insights with that. If you have any, if there's anything you would like to share, please, the chat is open. We would love to bring those conversations to the table. If you're willing to talk to us directly, that's even better. If you want to unmute yourself and share with the rest of the group, you're of course more than welcome to do that. So is there anyone who'd like to say or share with us what it's like to be in lockdown by yourself, and what you find the most challenging and maybe the most rewarding, and what you have been learning about yourself during this time?
Volunteers, I want to really hear
I'm
from
not locked down by myself, and I will not respond to this one. First, I will respond to something else, and then an inspiration which I just took. I am the lucky one because I had the breakout session with Robert, the only man in the call. So I with that, and he inspired me actually because he mentioned that he scheduled me time into the calendar for himself. So it's really important for him to take, to have that time for himself, and it's really inspiring. And I will apply that as well for myself.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's so important, because if you don't schedule that time, I think the day will slip away, and then you'll wonder what you actually did for yourself some days if you're not mindful of it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Someone else who would like to say about either lockdown by yourself or with other people, some insights, some things it has brought to you?
I'm happy to share a bit about that.
Nice.
It's being, so I'm in, well, I live with my boyfriend, but he still has to go to the office. And the fact that for me, everything has changed. I lost my work, income, social life. But for him, almost everything is still the same. He still goes to the office. He still has colleagues. He still has the same life, apart from the fact that he cycles to work instead of takes the tube. So like the fact that we've been going through very different phases has been confronting and not always very pleasant. But it's also, yeah, so that is actually like it's just really interesting to see the differences between how we're experiencing very differently, but also because we're in very different situations, I guess.
Thank you, Pauline.
I was on mute. Thank you. For sharing that. I think it's very, like, how we can navigate the same reality in very different ways. I like what also Jane shared with us. We spoke about the difference between consumerist self-love, example, going out and buying yourself shoes or a bagel, versus internal self-love, which is about talking to yourself with love, eating with love, moving with love. And I think indeed, I really believe that we carry an infinite source of love within ourselves, and it's also fair for us, for ourselves to enjoy and benefit from that. And I think going back to the topic of how you experience lockdown alone versus with others. So as I said, I'm currently with 3 other people in the house. And it's nice because, you know, I must say we're quite lucky. We're in this really old house that has lots of rooms, so we can each have our own space. But I think also what's been important for me has been movement. And I like what in our breakout room, what we discussed about as well was the like how much you're actually learning about yourself, in the sense that for me, you know, I'm someone who well, up until now, we'll see about the future, but I've traveled a lot. Like, traveling is part of my life. I'm in constant movement. You know, every month, at least 10 days of the month, I'm somewhere else, outside of Prague. So it's been so interesting to be here and be in the same place for 6 weeks straight. For me, it's unheard of. So I was like, whoa, like how do I handle this? And I really feel like this physical need to move and to be in a different environment. So I noticed that I naturally every day would go for a walk with the dog, the family dog. And believe me, I am not a dog person, so it's not something that would naturally come to me. But somehow me and this dog managed to find this common ground, which is the exploration, which is the going out. And I think for me, this time also means not only time alone, which again is interesting because I'm a kind of extrovert but introvert at the same time. So I need time by myself, which also allows for self-reflection and for observing nature. I know it can sound very cheesy, but to me, like, nature is such a teacher. Like, nature doesn't freak out about the conditions that arise around it. It surrenders fully to what happens. And I remember this friend of mine one day when I was particularly stressed out, she said, have you ever seen a stressed out tree or a burned out frog? Like, no, it doesn't exist, because they don't overthink about what goes on around them, and they completely surrender to the circumstances. You know, that frog doesn't know much more than you what tomorrow will bring, and yet there is a surrender. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was so simple, that message. And on the moment, I really thought, like, what? But somehow it really landed in me, and I realized it's true. You know, like, it's true that you can't change externally what happens, but you can always, like, take it from, you know, on you, how you will react to the circumstances. And I think what it really taught me was simply the act of being present, and how presence is something I'm really completely re-exploring. Even, you know, as an entrepreneur, I'm quite I'm in control of my hours and of my time and of my physical location, but I realize that I can still spend a lot of time here in my head. So this has really taught me about presence and about being here in the moment with whatever arises. Sorry, that was a bit of a ramble. But, you know, you might you might get something from that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this hour has literally flown by. It's been very, very fast, but hopefully there is something that you will take further with you. This is the first webinar that we organized, but there will be more. So Stephanie, would you like to tell our participants where they can find us and spend more exciting, insightful time with us?
Yeah, I would love to. So me and Bettina are really, we'll talk after this, but we would love also if you have any feedback in the chat box, if you would find other events like this interesting, because we would love to host more of them. But we definitely plan on hosting until the quarantine is fully lifted, because we cannot have events really, probably until summer, hopefully. So we have our community group, which I will send you guys in the chat box. So if you join our community group and you live in Prague, we can stay connected, but even there we will post our next online events as well. So let me get that link for you guys. And yeah, we would love to see some of you in another event. So here is the Facebook group, so you can feel free to join the group. And we also wanted to design this group as a way for people to share resources, to share insights. This is not just only us posting and our, like, what we use. We also want to open it up to any of you all who are interested in sharing what's been helpful for you in life in general, and especially during this time as well. And yeah, if you guys have any feedback or ideas for future online events, we would love to hear from you guys as well.
Exactly.
We also, as Femme, we will be sending you guys feedback form. So we always share the feedback with the speakers. So if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable sharing your feedback in the chat, then you can just fill out this anonymous form and we will pass it on the girls.
And to answer Julie's question really quick, right now we're open to everyone, especially considering the times that we're in. So it's originally we started to Elevate as for women within Prague, but now since we've moved online and now like we're opening it up to men as well. So it's open to anyone really at this point. So we do not want to exclude anyone from the community.
Exactly. We are glowing global. Exciting.
Glowing global.
Exactly. So, you know, like this was also a first tryout for us to see if this format works when it comes to self-care, when it comes to those conversations. So thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing and to opening up to hopefully some people you didn't know, some new friends that you're making. And yeah, we're excited to keep this conversation going. You know, for us, Elevate is really much a co-creation. So if there's any ideas, any thoughts, any insights, any topics you would like us to explore or bring to the future webinars, please feel free to bring it. I think now is really a time to connect, to keep co-creating, and to keep supporting each other. So again, thank you so much. It was lovely to see you, lovely to see your beautiful faces. And we look forward to seeing you very soon again and connect.
And thanks for having us, Lucy. So thanks to Femme, and we hope to see some of you all soon. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing this awesome and interactive workshop on self-care. As I said, we will be sending out everyone feedback forms. So please, if you can it will literally take just like 1 minute to let us know what you thought about this workshop. We as FemPod, we are hosting another workshop next week on Wednesday. It's focused on mindfulness. So I hope I will see some of you guys there. And with that, I would like to wish you a great night ahead. And yeah, thanks guys for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.